All right, folks, welcome on back. Closing our week out here this Friday afternoon, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And I should say this Friday, September 25th for the recording. Great to see everybody. Let's get a quick sound check just to begin. Make sure everyone can hear me loud and clear. It's been a slow afternoon. Markets are pushing up still, at least, so that's good to see. Great to see all of us, though. Bonnie, Pat, Greg, John R., John B., Lori, Chuck, Bill. Great to see you all. Jose, Donnie, Michael, and John R. again. All right, perfect. So let's hop into it, guys. We have class finishing up. Finally, we are done with the phase 2 stock course for this month of September. So we will be finishing that very last class up, coming up at 3:05 p.m. Eastern time. So we'll post the link, do what we need to do just right once we finish up this meeting. So let's hop into it, guys, from top to bottom. The cruise lines were pushing up early today. The headline that came out, I think, at least from what I saw, was CCL. I think they ended up getting upgraded from equal weight to overweight by Barclays. So, with CCL, we ended up seeing the rest of the other cruise lines. I have NCLH up here for right now. So this was one of a few that ended up pushing up, but also with the market. So, with the healthy market, we ended up seeing these stocks still hold strong near the highs going into this afternoon. Just full disclosure, I am in 2 trades right now. I am in NCLH right now from 1624. I got my stop set. So if this ends up going the other way, then unfortunately I'd be stopped out, but with only like a break even or a tiny loss. What's the other one that I'm currently in right now? Let me get my freaking position manager even open. There we go. It's Genius. I almost got stopped out on Genius here. So GNUS. We'll come back to the cruise lines, and from top to bottom, I just wanted to mention to you guys right now, I almost got stopped out on this trade. I'm in from 126, big iceberg order on the bid broke. It ended up kind of holding strong right off like 124. And as soon as it popped back over 126, I ended up jumping in. So I'm in from 26. I got my stop set. So hopefully the cruise lines at least are a strong push from where they're at right now. I mean, I'll come back to this at least before the end of this meeting. Maybe if they're up so much, I'll just take the profit and run. But yeah, for right now, NCLH, CCL, RCL, the cruise lines all together seem to still be pretty strong. I'll just put them all on our list here so far for the afternoon. All right, so with that, what we'll do is go from top to bottom, folks. Number one is up 72%, like a measly 72% compared to what we've seen this week. STND looks like a buyout. Looks like a very low volume buyout. I'm gonna pass. CBAT, this was up well more than the 70% from earlier this morning in pre-market, but much like a lot of those, ended up dumping off right after 9:30. We spoke about this, guys, in class this morning. In fact, phase 2, lesson 3, we were talking about pretty much our morning picks, just really going through a lot of these, identifying, what to do after the market opens up. So I know it's easy for me to say this, much like, well, we said in class, but this happens all the time. Stocks that are up, 70, 100, 2,000%, like SPI perhaps. When the market opens up, you'd have to expect the pullback. So CBAT, pullback, what's the other one? Oh, SGBX. I'm sorry. SGBX, before the pop up here, pullback, right? So, after this short-lived pop, false pop perhaps, where we see a lot of volume getting filled from the offer, but after kind of holding support off 3 and then eventually breaking under it, look what happened. So that's where we say to you guys here, and especially not even students and members in our room. I'm talking about just people that join us for free on social media. For you guys that just tend to come in here and there, this is the principle behind our strategy. We can't turn a day trade overnight, and we have to make sure that we get out before the stock looks to go against us. So it's much easier said than done in the live moment. But after looking at stocks like CBAT, SGBX, of course, from earlier this week, SPI, Pola, Sun W, I mean, these stocks provide great opportunity, but they also provide great disaster if we don't know how to get out or don't know how to manage the trade as well. So, yeah, again, very similar to like I had said yesterday, another one actually, NETE. I hope nobody got caught up in the shake here on the way down. All right, SYPR, another one, pop and drop. Wasn't there to trade that one myself. IEA near the highs, pretty spotty though. I'm going to pass on that too. This is where I'll pretty much say at this point, guys, we had a pretty interesting morning, a really good list with a lot of stocks that we're pretty familiar with, and there still might be a good list for this afternoon. But this is where I'll typically say at the end of the week, it's a Friday. Not a whole lot happens going, into the weekend here, coming off, news or anything like that, really. We ended up seeing news across the market that led to a nice push up. But after the move up today, it's hard to expect serious continuation higher going into the afternoon. All right, Genius kind of holding right where my entry point is. If it ends up shaking to 124, I'm out. So I'm going to take a 2-cent loss if that's the case. That's a really big order on the bid that broke, though. So I'm hoping that 126 just holds, and then that looks to run back up. And I'll even say there's Genius. Just because I'm in it doesn't mean I'm going to put it on the list. It's pretty slow, so I'm just hopeful for a nice, really big pop. For about 5 or 6 cents, you could trade a few thousand shares of that. We ended up making our money on Genius earlier this morning, guys. So I would like it just like I said with the Dow. I wouldn't expect a stock like Genius to make one big move up early in the morning to pull back, and then for it to make a second equally big move or even bigger move going into the afternoon. So we'll see where that trade takes me. But for right now, we'll see if there's anything looking better. Mobile, MOBL, mobile iron, I guess. Pop after the open. It looks like it held strong for a little bit, but then kind of flattened out and really volume died off. A couple of sporadic spikes here and there, but we'll pass. All right, Blink, BLNK. I want to copy and paste the news at least for you guys here because Fausto put this on the list pretty much at the buzzer, right when we were finishing up the morning meeting. Blink came out with news. So at 9:15 in the morning, we ended up seeing news come out. I think it was like a partnership of some sort. Sustainable Westchester Blink Charging announced a working partnership to promote electric vehicle charging infrastructure in New York. Oh, that's good to know for me. I'll post that across social media here at least, Facebook Live, YouTube. I just posted that in the chat board for all of us here as well. So Blink is holding near the highs. It did just break down below 9. It made the pop over 9, but then the pullback right under it. So hopefully at this point we'll happen to see support, perhaps right around 880. It's driving down there pretty sharply right now. We ended up doing really well on Blink earlier in the week off of news, but I want to jump back to that, though, because I think, what was that, Tuesday or Wednesday that was, perhaps? Let's see if I can go back on the chart. No, I got to go back an extra day. Pardon me. All right. Well, I want to go back because for as well as we did on Blink, and this was back on Tuesday, I think, for as well as we did, it ended up dumping right back down, and it was pretty much near the highs when we were looking at it at this point in the day. So let's just take a quick look right now on Blink from, I think it was Tuesday this week. Yeah, I mean, look at this. This is where we left off with Blink on Tuesday afternoon, 2:30 Eastern time. Here I go, hit the gong, the afternoon meeting, boom. Ended up seeing the squeeze up, but never broke higher. Ended up pulling back, and look what happened going into the final 30 minutes. So it's not impossible to see the same thing happen here, guys. I'm going to put it on the list. Hopefully it doesn't do that. It will just hopefully hold a higher low, move back up, and then break higher. But, again, we saw it earlier in the week, so just be careful. All right, what else do we have? Blink was up 15%, so I want to jump through here. I see some warrants, Shell, SPAC, SPAQ. Those are familiar names. I'll jump to those. I'm sure I'll find those on the gainers list. And look at this. Fantastic setup, as we were talking about inside our live trading room just before. It took a little while to get this going, but it's trying to re-break over 11. So this Savage stock here had a level at like 1096 from the chart, but the real major level is off 11. The iceberg, the big volume spike here right at 2:23 Eastern time. Right over here, the big prints filled off 11. So that's our major level going into the close, but looking really strong. So I'll add this too right away. All right, let's see. Anything else, guys? Got the NCLH on there. Workhorse up almost 11% right now. Ended up making a much bigger move shortly after the market opened up, topped off right around 25.50. Kind of tight range, pretty flat and compared to the run up from earlier this morning. Don't get me wrong, it's tradable, but we've seen it do better. Ooh, look at this. Maybe for the as we jokingly like to say, for the Bernies out there, for the Bloombergs, for anyone that tends to trade the more expensive stocks. Peloton looking fantastic. I mean, as far as trend, it's trading a hell of a lot of volume. Given the price, it still has a really tight spread. Tiny orders on the book, so it's not like a level 1 or 2 stock, but definitely I'll add Peloton to our list. Looking really good. All right, let's see. Anything else? Familiar name? Anything else that's up big, looking good? And NVAX, I just want to take a peek at. Popped earlier off of, I think, vaccine news. Pretty expensive, though. Bigger spread. All right. I do want to jump to Shell and SPAC. I had mentioned those are like EV stocks, and in particular SPAQ at like a almost noontime earlier today, like 11:50ish Eastern time. I had mentioned to you guys, I wouldn't be surprised if SPAC ends up making a move into the afternoon or a run later on today. So it ended up breaking a new high. It just flattened out under 14. It's a really good setup in terms of that resistance, and it's up 6.5%. It's kind of pulling back here. So I'll put this on the side list for the meantime. Maybe check back with this just in the next 2 or 3 minutes. But let's see if there's anything else looking better or just as good on the losers end here, guys. Let's see. Let me make this bigger. All right, so 482,000 shares, but down 49%. What happened here? It's not even worth it. I mean, big gap down, a potential dead cat bounce, but very low volume. I don't even know what this is. There's our Sun W down 48% today. Oh my goodness. So obviously we spoke about this at the top of the meeting, right? For stocks like, SPI and CBAT and all of these others from the earlier this week. We're not trying to hold these overnight. Even on Sun W here, the following day, yesterday that is, it gapped up and ran that much higher in the pre-market. But look at what happened back on Wednesday. For as much as it popped, it ended up driving right back down and closed all the way down at 116. So, these are all pump and dump type stocks. We have to realize when the momentum is kind of stopping on the way up. Same with this one. This one's, you would have thought for down 95%, this would make a much sharper move. I came pretty close to swing trading a few shares overnight yesterday, guys, because it was doing pretty good for us going into the afternoon. So you would think, well, for a stock that's down as much as this was, there's still a lot of room to see this squeeze, and fill the gap a bit, even a fraction. I was hoping to see continuation this morning, but ended up diving off as soon as the market opened, and holy smokes, look at where this thing is now. So, I'll keep this in mind for next week. I mean, it's a cheapie and it's down so much still, but again, we're not looking to swing trade these for the most part. SPI, Pola, Net. I mean, literally all of these that were on the gainers list yesterday and Wednesday are all tanking now. PPSI is the only one that's shortable. So this one from earlier today, this was actually a decent trade. I wrote this down on my notepad going into the morning, but I didn't really focus on this like leading into the open. I was recording a big video for the class that we ended up doing earlier today. So I'll tell you, I've taken like 3 trades today, or maybe 4, and 2 of them I'm currently in. So I've really done much of nothing today, guys. I was in Boxel and pre-market with you guys. I took a nice short on NCLH before this meeting. I jumped back in long, and it's been tough, but PPSI here pop up, but then it is shortable. So if it ends up coming back down, crapping out the other way, as we like to say, provides great opportunity. APA, we called this out earlier. It's pretty slow. That's my only issue on this. It is at the lows and it is shortable. So, definitely going to make the cut, put this right on our list. Looks pretty interesting still, but yeah, I mean, it wasn't really like a huge breakdown below big support off 10. It broke below it here, pretty shaky, but back to the lows perhaps now off 993. Fossil, usually the stock is slow. Yeah, kind of same thing. Rite Aid off earnings from I think it was yesterday morning, ended up dropping off yesterday. It was a really good opportunity to short. Obviously, once again today, I missed out on this drop off earlier this morning though. Like I'd said, just my focus was not really trading personally after the open myself, but getting ready for the class. We ended up seeing this make a similar move, squeezed up after the open, dropped right back down and broke new lows. So very active. It still seems like at this point in the day, trading about 13,000 shares. Squeezed up off, around 980-ish, moving up a little bit here. You know what? It's tradable, but let's see if there's anything moving a little bit faster. That's it. All right, folks, if there's anything else up, down, left, right, 5% or more that you want me to look at going into the last few minutes of this afternoon meeting, let me know. Got a couple here on YouTube. First, we got IBIO. So not a bad stock to think about. Oh, and also from the chat board, I'm sorry. Jeff B did call out SRNE at the high of the day. So, it seems like the vaccine stocks seem to be moving up, right? IBIO is a little slow, but it's a decent call, though. I like that. And, at the high is up 9%. SRNE, similar move, not up as much percent-wise, but I feel like this could be the faster opportunity of the two. Oof, this INO is flat. This is going nowhere. CODX, not really as well. All right, maybe VXRT, Vaxert. It's up 7+%. I'll tell you, I mean, SRNE and IBIO look the best, clearly, and IBIO is breaking a new high, up 9%. I'll add this to the list. It's a nice level 1 stock, so you have to know your worth on a trade like this. Are you expecting to make 50 cents a share? I would hope not. That would be like an absolute that would be like a triple grand slam on a trade like this going into the final hour. But hey, if you could pick up 8, maybe 10 cents on a few thousand, I'll take that. So decent call. And then also we have here as well from YouTube. Can you see MIK breaking 925? So Fausto had called that out earlier this morning. I think Fausto and Rich, I was teaching the class, ended up diving off earlier this morning. And yeah, near the lows, tradable setup. I mean, if it could break down below that 925, but just flat. Yeah. I mean, I guess I could put this on the list if I was really looking to, but we have a decent list already between the cruise lines, Blink, Saba. Peloton's a little pricey, but it's on there. APA driving down nicely. That's shortable. I feel like that could be a faster move. All right, not a bad call though. Let's see. Sun W delisted, or it's going to be delisted, says Tony. I didn't realize. Yeah, I mean, diving right back down to 2, Tony. So. I made the call out earlier. I was saying CBAT and Sun W were both diving down to 2. So, would it be possible to take a small little scalp entry off 2 so long as it could run up right away? Yeah, but again, NETE, I said the same thing about yesterday. And for what it's worth, it did make that 50-cent little inch up, but then, ultimately look what happened later on, right? Just flattened out, tanked later on. Same thing. All right. Well, guys, I'll tell you, I think that we're pretty much good to go. I don't see anything else from Benzinga. I don't have anything else to share with you guys myself. So I think we'll call it. In total, we have 2, 4, 5, and we'll call it 8 in total because it's RCL, NCLH, CCL. Those are like the 3 main cruise lines that we tend to follow. There is one other one, but I'll just mention it just to mention it. This one here is CUK. This is actually Carnival stock as well, very similar to CCL. Only difference is CUK is shortable and trades less volume. But, the cruise lines all together and a few others that will have to go into the close, guys. SPAC off 14 again, but just pretty flat. So we'll pass on this too. All right, guys, for all of our students here inside our trading room, we'll look to post the link for class coming up very shortly. Is 2:47, made good on time at least today. So I'm going to get ready for class myself, guys. For anybody tuning in on social media, at least Facebook Live and YouTube, as always, make sure that you guys like, subscribe, notify if you have not done so already, so you could at least know when we're going live, when we're not. We're going to pop up pretty sporadically coming up in the next month or so. Do a little live trading here and there. So always look to make sure that you guys are notified as well, just to know that when we're going on. All right, guys. Aside from that, as always, I look forward to seeing most of us in class. And aside from that, take care.